Welcome to another exciting episode of In Conversation with Alethia. I'm your host, Alethia O'Hara-Stephenson. In each episode, I sit down with amazing individuals who are doing incredible things in our communities. The show will educate, it will empower, and it will inspire you. In this episode, I am honored to have an incredible young man who's doing incredible things in his community. His name is Suhaib Al Nakshabandi. Suhaib is also the co-founder of Save Hastings, a nonprofit organization that was established to provide youth and advocacy and amazing things to homeless individuals in Vancouver. He's also a third-year student, on his way to being a neuroscience doctor. So amazing things. It is an honor to have you, Suhaib, and I can't wait to dive into this conversation with you. So welcome to In Conversation with Alethia.
Hi, yeah, it's an honor to be here with you as well and to be able to share, I guess, the stories of what we've been doing and highlighting some of the things that we've been working on, especially in downtown Eastside Vancouver.
Amazing. And so I want to dive right into the conversation. So you are one of the co-founders. I believe there are four of you who started Save Hastings.
Yes, correct. So there's four of us, basically three of us are friends, and one of them is my brother. The way it started is more like we were just, we were thinking we wanted to start something to help out the homeless in downtown Eastside. And just a way to help out, give initiative and do something that give back to the community that we were raised in and born in. Especially to many of us, a lot of us, our parents are immigrants, and we wanted to be able to do something back to the community for, I guess, appreciating what they've done to us. And at the end of the day, these people are basically our families. Right? When you live in a city, they're basically your community. And so, we decided, hey, you know what? We need to really help out, and we really need to make a change. Even if we don't make a change, we want to just do a small portion, just by helping out, feeding them, giving them clothes, any way, shape, or form of helping them. We do so, and we continue to try our best to do that.
That's incredible and very inspiring for you to be able to start this organization. When did you start? Was it in 2022 or 2023?
So we actually started 2023 of last year, actually around this time exactly. So we registered around May, June, but we took our time starting our event. So our first event was actually October. And the reason is, we were like, hey, we made this organization. We know what we want, our goal and our focus. But we want to take our time researching and knowing exactly what they want, right? You can't just assume what they want. You need to know what they want exactly. What do they want? Do they want food? Do they want fruits? Do they want clothes? Do they want socks? And so we took our time really taking initiative and really researching what kind of things they want. And so we went out there and asked them, and we made sure that everything that they wanted, we were able to give back to them. So yeah, our first event really started in October, where we give out hygienic kits. And from there, fortunately, we've been creating event to events, and it's been great having volunteers and having organizations as well sponsor us and collaborate with us, like IRC, and IDRF, and all these organizations just helping and supporting us. It's an incredible thing, and we're glad and we're humble, and it's an amazing thing to do, honestly.
I love that. And I love the fact that you were able to embark on this journey with not only your brother, but three other close friends. And from there, you were able to have a long list of volunteers. I believe you have over 100 volunteers supporting Save Hastings. Is that correct?
Something like that. Yes.
That is incredible. That's a true community event, right? And you talked about, your community is essentially an extension of your family. And I know it is absolutely inspiring to see young people taking such pride in their community and doing something to pay things forward. And I love it. I love everything that Save Hastings stands for. What I would love to dive into is to understand a little bit more about the impact that you've had in just one short year. So how many meals and how many kits have you been able to deliver approximately to date?
Approximately, in terms of kits, we've given out around 50 to 60 hygienic kits, and each kit include toothpaste, toothbrushes, soap, and etc. stuff that they need. Hygienic things that homeless need, right? And sometimes the city are unfortunately that we haven't seen that's been given out to the homeless. But in terms of plates and how much things we've given out to them, It's been a total number of at least 700 to 800 meals.
Wow.
Recently we had a huge event called Day of Dignity, collaborated with Islamic Relief Canada, and we were giving out at least maybe 300 to 500 meals. When it comes to fruits, it comes to pastas, pizzas, almost 40 boxes of pizzas, iced tea, waters, and almost at least 200 boxes of, oh no, sorry, 100 boxes of clothes at least,
That's
with sleeping bags and other stuff as well. Because especially Vancouver, it gets cold.
right.
So this was one of our biggest events. This just happened last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was an amazing event. It was so nice to see them, smiling and enjoying, and some of them were very emotional. And we were also able to give haircuts during this event. So we were able to get barbers, and they gave out free haircuts, and many people appreciated it. But all in all, we've given out at least 600 to 800 meals in just the past year.
That's amazing. And one of the things that I love about the work that you and your co-founders are doing and your volunteers is you're able to keep the dignity of these individuals intact, right? Sometimes you see on social media individuals giving out meals, but they're taking pictures of, the homeless
Mhm.
person and posting it. You're focusing on you as, the organizers and your community of volunteers and board members doing the great work in the community, but making sure that you're respecting the dignity of those who are you're caring for. So that is powerful. And I encourage you to continue down that path because dignity is important to everyone, no matter your status in life or stage in life. So kudos to you and team for doing that. One of the things that I noticed that you've also been able to do is we're talking about the community support, but I believe you had a chef who's been helping to prepare some of these meals free of charge, so essentially donating their time, including your own family, giving of their time to make sure that you're able to continue with this great service. Can you talk a little bit about that journey and the impact and the experience, all of the great things?
Yeah, so this amazing chef, this incredible individual who deserves all of our prayers, all of our respect. I mean, the man does everything for free. Nothing, he doesn't charge me anything except the supplies, which is, it's mandated, right?
Right.
And normally he gives me the supplies and he just makes me pay just for the pasta, whatever. But the man has so much respect. He gives me the food for basically almost for free. The guy, at least, because he has a whole kitchen to work with as well. He has staff, and he has customers are coming in. Yet getting up in the morning around 10 a.m., cooking us food for our event around 5 to 6 p.m., which where we pick it up and we drop it off back in. And he does it all out of love and respect and for the sake of God. And he truly, he just appreciates every single. And I'm very shy to ask him every single time about it, but he keeps asking me, to ask me. I want to do this for the sake of God. And he's a very religious man, and I'm glad we got contact with him because he enjoys doing it. He doesn't even want pictures. He doesn't want us to say anything about him at all. Nothing. He doesn't want anything. Like even right now that I'm talking about him, he doesn't even want it. But support and respect needs to be given to the guy, and I really do appreciate him. Honestly, he deserves everything that comes toward him.
That's awesome. And, thank you for sharing a little bit about, who this individual is without, talking about his name and, the restaurant or the organization that he's affiliated with. That is, again, going back to the dignity and giving everyone the respect that they deserve. So thank you for doing that. I want to touch on, homelessness a little bit and hone in on some of the stats. I know here in Toronto, when we look at the numbers, we have on average 1,500 to roughly 2,000 youth who are homeless. I believe Vancouver has a similar numbers in terms of homeless youth. Is it do you know those numbers off the top of your head?
On top of my head, I do not know. In terms of youth, where we focus on, there's not much youth. There's a lot of adults there.
Okay.
We try to look for youth all the time, though. We would love to help them out, especially youth. These people we relate to. We're around probably similar age, and these people especially we want to focus on. But the people that we help out a lot is a lot of adults that unfortunately are in a crisis of drugs
Mm-hmm.
and just some things that they just cannot control, right?
Okay.
So like one of the things that we did in our first ever event, our hygienic kits, we actually put cards with homeless shelters and other shelters that can help them, get rid of these addictions, get rid of these other things that they have with them. And so we gave them contact information, addresses, and anything they can to get to these places, because we really do care for them. As a kid growing up in Vancouver, when we used to go to downtown, I would never get out the car. I would stay in the car because I would see the homeless around, and I'd see them, how they're drugged, unfortunately, and they hit their heads on the poles and everything like that. So I'd be very scared of them. I would never get out the car. And then later on, I grew up, and it's like, this is my community. This is people that I grew up with. These people, honestly, many of these people, unfortunately, they fall into these addictions, and it's not because of their fault. Like some of the people we've met, they've worked in the EMS, they've worked as firefighters, they've worked as construction workers. They had regular, normal jobs, and unfortunately, they fall into these addictions that they cannot control.
Okay.
And so we feel for these people, honestly, and we really want to help. And every single time we go there, we see smiles on our faces, whatever, and we just enjoy it. We enjoy helping them. But in terms of numbers, we see more adults there rather than youth.
Okay.
But again, we do want to focus on youth. We do. But all in all, we want to help everyone. But unfortunately, we haven't seen youth yet.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Around downtown.
And I love the fact that you're also able to provide that extended support by providing the care and contact information for different shelters or different resources to help these individuals. You touched on providing free haircuts, earlier on in the conversation. And I imagine, some of those next steps include potentially even outfitting them with, a suit and getting them job ready to go for an interview? Is that something that is on the horizon if you haven't already done it?
Yes. That's actually one of our goals right now. And again, we're thinking about it, and I don't like to pick and choose, but I do want to select. Again, I hate selecting, but it's more like I want to help some of them out. I get their papers, we get their passports, we get their SIN numbers, we get any information they need to open a bank, to get a credit card, to get a job, give them suits and get them a proper job where they can change their lives. And that's something we really truly wanted to focus on. And again, we don't do this for any popularity. We don't do this is all for the sake of God, for the sake of us, not for our profiles. When we start our events, we always say, hey, we're doing this for the sake of God. We do this for, to humble ourselves. Because when we do this events, we humble ourselves. Truly. We do truly humble ourselves. So, and truly, this is not, by any means, is not a one-man job. This is a huge team job. Huge. I want to appreciate the whole team. Honestly, this team, without the team, it would have not been possible. But right now, we're focusing on trying to select some homeless people that we can see potential, or not really see potential, but more that want to work. Some people, unfortunately, they say, you know what? No, I want to stay in the street. I'm happy where I am. And unfortunately, we can't really force, right? You can only do so much. These people are happy, and when you get older, especially, it's hard to change. Change is really hard on them. So we want to see people, especially youth, right? We want to help them. We want to help them get a job, get their papers, and get them out there in the world, to start their lives again. But that's something in the future that we would love to do.
Okay, no, that's absolutely amazing. I love it. And I love the fact that you're recognizing your team, for all of the hard work that they're doing to make Save Hastings a success. So thank you for that. We're going to take a short break, Suhaib, and come right back and pick up the conversation about where you would like to go with Save Hastings from now on. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Suhaib Al Nakshabandi.
A lot of people, they come out here just to put something on their resume. I do here for the love of God, honestly.
It starts here, and we can't help others until we help ourselves, and helping Canada includes helping ourselves. So.
Save Hastings started by one day, and I was sitting in the house. I was in a hammock, actually. So this is like a whole dream. I was in a hammock. I was like, how can I help the community around me? I looked up, what are
Welcome back to In Conversation with Alethia. I'm having a wonderful conversation with Suhaib Al Nakshabandi, talking about Save Hastings and the amazing things the organization is doing to provide care and food for the homeless in Vancouver. So downtown East Vancouver, to be exact. So thank you and welcome back, Suhaib.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, so I wanted to dive right into, at the beginning of the segment, we talked about how you were able to get started and what was the original vision and inspiration around getting Save Hastings started. Can you just expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I guess I'll explain the story of how it exactly started. I was flying over to Tampa, and we were all first years in uni, and we wanted to help and do something to change the community, especially the co-founders. We we really do want to help the community, and we talked about this a lot. Growing up in high school as well, we always wanted to help out the community. But the thing is, when we looked around, we never saw, I guess, programs or organizations. I and that's due to our probably poor research initially, because when we started the organization, wow, like our eyes, like the amount of sponsors and collaborations that work in downtown, the same project as us, is incredible, and we never saw them. And just
Wow.
like we again, this is due to our poor research. So when we initially started it, we wanted to do something to help the community, something to give back. Okay, so we thought of ways like, what can we do to help back? As people who are from mid class, we wanted to do something to help out the homeless. Right, these are people that we grew up with, and we were all I guess scared of them. Like I said, I was initially scared of them, and I grew up to later on love them. Like I later there's a quote that I saw from a manager, which I don't remember exactly, but there was a CEO, and he would always handshake a janitor or anyone outside of his building. He would handshake them, even if he was homeless, and that truly changed me. I was like, wow, this guy is a CEO. He's top tier, the rich, yet he's still going out there talking, really putting out his needs and talking to the homeless.
Wow.
And so this really truly changed me, especially with my religion, and the prophet that we follow. He was a very caring man, and we'd always talk to the homeless, always. And again, this doesn't have to do with me. This has to do with the team. But again, this is a team effort where we wanted to help out the community. So we're like, you know what, we should look. We should totally go down to downtown and help out. Anyway, let's give him sandwiches. Let's do this. Let's do this. And you know what? We were thinking of like, how can we make an organization as first year students who know nothing, absolutely nothing. Anyways, we took our time and researched and really took, this commitment, because it's not an easy commitment. We gratefully we were able to give out food every 2 weeks to the homeless, and sometimes we do big events like the one we've had 2 weeks ago. But every 2 weeks we go to downtown with our volunteers. We give out food, and this is a big commitment. This is not something easy, but we truly came together and agreed. You know what? Hey, we got to do this together. This is not a one-man project. This is a huge thing together we have to do. And so we decided, like, let's sign contracts. Let's say, like, hey, we're committed. No one's gonna leave us. We're all committed to doing this together. And so this is how it started. It slowly started as just a simple 15 of us with volunteers, and it's been growing and growing and growing, and it's been going exponentially with volunteers and the sponsors and yeah. But that's how it initially started. There's just something that we wanted to give back to the community.
That is mighty courageous of all of you to be first year students when that's likely your heaviest workload, having to transition from high school and starting out in the world, a brand new world again, and starting a nonprofit. So I commend you and your team for doing that and having the courage to not only say we're going to do something, but commit to doing it by signing a contract. And here you are almost a year later and doing amazing things. I'm curious to find out in terms of how you've been able to juggle. So you've got this nonprofit, you've got school, you've got your social life, you've got your family life. How have you been able to manage while navigating all of these different complexities of what makes you you?
It hasn't been easy. I'll say that. There has been sacrifices that I had to commit, in terms of school, family, and but one thing is that if you have your family in the back, in terms of like supporting you and rooting for you, nothing will stop you. That's something I've realized. When you have a father and a mother that root for you, and your siblings that root for you and say, you know what, you're doing something that deserves to be rooted for, and we will help you in any way, shape, and form. When it comes to school, it's very hard to sacrifice school, especially when it comes to university. It's not easy. Tuition and like, is it really worth failing a class and redoing another 4 months? But at the end of the day, you have to be able to multitask. Especially later on. In high school, we're not really taught that much. But right away, we realized in university, like, you know what? Hey, we need to multitask. Like, put some hours away from studying and from family, from everything, and focus. And actually, so the funny thing is, all the co-founders, we are owls. We stay up. So when we have our meetings are around 1 a.m.
Wow.
So yeah. So so when we do our meetings, fortunately they're all at 1 a.m. and we're all up. This is when we start studying as well. So we're all excited and ready for these meetings and talk about how we're gonna do this event and everything. And so fortunately, it's been good just because I guess we all have similar traits. To the people of Save Hastings, especially volunteers, they stay up as well. It might not be the best idea, but it's the way that we found to work out for us when it comes to our events, our school, family. So these are sacrifices that we had to make, but honestly, would I do it again? 100%.
I love that. And, you touched on some really important points because often, especially, oftentimes even adults, I won't just say young people, but oftentimes adults think that, the day ends at a certain hour. But the reality is, if you are passionate and dedicated enough about something, you will make the time if it means 1 a.m., 2 a.m., or 3 a.m. in the morning to get things done. So the fact that you're at this age and you've realized that you need to put in the time and the effort and commit to doing something great, I think that's it's wonderfully powerful. So kudos to you and the team for sticking with it. I want to touch on what are you most proud of? Like, what is your biggest success? I mean, starting a nonprofit to me is a success by itself, but I'm curious to hear from your own words. What are you most proud of?
See, with me, I'm an overachiever, especially with the whole team. We're all overachievers. We love achieving things, big goals especially. Our biggest achievement was our biggest event, Day of Dignity. This was not an easy project. It was one of our hardest projects to really get together and make. When it comes to gathering volunteers, gathering material, contacting sponsors, contacting collaborations. It was not easy, especially we were doing this during our finals. All of us were having finals, and for many of us, some of the people who were in the Save Hastings organization were Muslims. So we had Ramadan especially, so it wasn't easy, but it's something that we're all passionate. When you have passion of something, you're gonna go all out, and that's just how life works. So we all had passion for this amazing event, and fortunately, it worked out. Surprisingly, it worked out because we were basically on our last day before having everything, the pot, like when it comes to pots, the pizzas, everything. Somehow, once you get to the event together, it all works out. I don't know how, everything somehow works out. We all love to plan things ahead, by the way, but this event especially was 3 months of planning, and it was still somehow, it was very hard to get things together. But once we got to the event, our brains cleared up, and we right away, started giving out foods and our clothes. And again, we were able to give out almost 500 meals and at least 100 boxes of clothes and fruits and pizzas and drinks and barbers especially. So I think that was our biggest achievement that we've got from Save Hastings.
That's amazing. I can't imagine having to pull off an event like that on my end with all of my years of experience. So again, kudos to you and team for accomplishing that. I'm curious to find out how you stay motivated, right? This is a lot of work, not just, with running an organization, but keeping the team together. As one of the co-founders, you have to make sure that everyone is in sync and, still have the same passion and energy. How do you keep them and yourself motivated?
Passion. That's one thing I'll say. It's the passion that, especially when you have something that you're able to make with people and you see it growing, and as long as in your head, and as long as in your head that this is going to become successful, you're going to go all out. And that's how we do. We motivate each other nonstop. Honestly, our team is full of support. No one gives up on each other. No one, not a single member, not a single volunteer. Everyone says we can do this, and together we work together and we plan and we plan and we plan and we get together, especially in person. We go to cafes and we plan. Again, we are a small organization, very small compared to big organizations that do incredible work, even better than us. But truly, we all gained from experience as well. We volunteered when we were kids, so we were able to gain insights. Especially this generation, I feel like we look up to organizations, look up to people, and we truly take everything that they do and learn, and it gets transferred to us, and somehow we might maybe just make something better. Well, who knows? But that's how I see it as. It's just a passion, and as long as you have a team who motivate each other, nothing will stop you. Honestly, it's all about motivating each other. Because if you think you're gonna fail, you will fail. If you think you're gonna succeed, you'll succeed. And that's how how just life works. And that's the way I look at life as well.
That is a powerful statement. If you think you're going to fail, you're going to fail. But if you think you're going to succeed, you're going to succeed. I love that. That should be your slogan from now on.
Maybe we'll look into it.
If it's not already copyrighted, get it copyrighted.
Maybe.
Nice. Now, I'm curious to find out. So once you are established or more established in Hastings, do you have visions of, maybe branching out, having different chapters across Canada? Toronto, we talked about Toronto, offline. Is that something that you have aspirations of establishing?
Yes, 100%. That's actually one of our main focuses. Actually, my main goal, at the end of the day, my main goal was to go to Africa. That was my main goal. My main goal, I wanted to go to Africa, make wells, make anything with people. I want to be able to contribute. At the end of the day, I do things for the sake of God, and I want to be able to do it for the sake of God. But I realized, I have to start small.
Yes.
Right? With all my team, we all have to start small, and you have to slowly come up. You can't just take a shortcut and go all the way there. Yes. So when we realized that, like, hey, you know what, we got to take one step at a time. So, we thank God at the moment we've been doing, a good amount of work at the moment where we're able to give out food and donate, gather donations. But 100%, we want to branch out to Sacramento, to Toronto, to Africa, around Africa regions, all over the world, honestly. But again, it's all about taking one step at a time. And, we need the connections at the end of the day. So it's all about the connections.
That's wonderful. You know what? We are at the end of our conversation, and I hate to end it, but we're ending on a positive note because you want to take this organization and have a greater impact, not just in Hastings, but across Canada and potentially globally. So thank you so much, Suhaib, for having this conversation with me. I am awe-inspired, and I can't wait to see what you get up to next. Thank you for taking the time, and let's stay connected.
Will do. Thank you very much for having us, and it was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Amazing. This has been another incredible episode of In Conversation with Alethia. Tune in next time for another exciting episode. Special thanks to our sponsors, Town Teas and Moonstone by MA for the incredible jewelry. See you next time.